This Sunday, future of the party.
If I win and somebody wants to run against me, I call my attorney general and I say, listen, indict him.
The Republican Party is at a crossroads.
Will we be the party of conservatism? Or will we follow the siren song of populism, unmoored to conservative principles?
Will the GOP back Donald Trump's return to power or find a new path forward? I'll talk to Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, one of the 7 Republicans who voted to convict Donald Trump. Plus, backing Biden. My wide-ranging interview with California's Democratic Governor, Gavin Newsom. Why do you think only 24% of Americans want to see Biden run again?
To me, the polls mean nothing until we get out there and we make our case.
His thoughts on his party, the 2024 election, and his own presidential ambitions.
I think we need to move past this notion that he's not going to run. President Biden is going to run. Time to move on. Let's go.
And gerontocracy. As questions grow about their fitness for office, America's aging leaders refuse to exit the stage.
I'm going to finish my term as leader, and I'm going to finish my Senate term.
I've made my decision in favor of winning.
Why are Washington's octogenarians ignoring the call from voters who believe they are too old to serve? Joining me for insight and analysis are NBC News senior political editor Mark Murray, Amy Walter, editor-in-chief of the Cook Political Report, Democratic pollster Cornell Belcher, and Danielle Pletka of the American Enterprise Institute. Welcome to Sunday. It's Meet the Press.
From NBC News in Washington, the longest running show in television history. This is Meet the Press with Chuck Todd.
Good Sunday morning. As you may have heard, after 9 years and more than 430 broadcasts, today is my final Sunday in the moderator chair. To say that this has been the honor and privilege of my lifetime is an understatement. This is simply the pinnacle of political journalism and something my younger self never imagined. No matter how much of a grind the current political climate is, wearing me down on any given day, I still always have had a pinch me, I can't believe it feeling every time I hear my name introduced as the moderator of the longest running show in the history of television. In fact, I used to joke, my goal is not to be the last moderator of the longest running show in American history. And I've achieved that goal and then some. I look forward to passing the baton in about 57 minutes. But in the meantime, we've put together a terrific program with a focus, or at least we're going to try to, on the future of both political parties. And the guests we have today, particularly African-American men and Hispanic men, they're not reliable Democrats. As much.
Listen, we'd be remiss, Chuck. I want to talk about that, but we'd be remiss as a panel if we didn't say thank you. If we interrupt this program for us to all say thank you.
You saw the 1 minute sign.
And I got to say, look, it's been a great conversation for almost a decade.
It's going to continue.
But thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this conversation.
Hey, it's been an honor, not just to get to know all of these wonderful people, but to be part of this community that is around you at NBC News. It really has.
I can't believe I get to hang out with people like you.
I know. Well,
and you.
We've grown up together in politics. I'm so very proud of you.
We've been shadowing each other forever.
We have. And you know what I'm the most proud of is you have kept your sense of optimism, even though this is a hard job. I know, but this is a tough job, and you have kept. You're critical, but you're not cynical, and I appreciate that.
Thanks, Chuck. It's been a great ride. A lot of great stories to cover, a lot of ups and downs, and just a great ride to be with you.
I'm going to see you at the Miami, Texas national title.
You got that right.
Canes. Hey, when we come back, speaking of college, all politics is local until it isn't. What college football's decision to expand. Welcome back. The last 9 years as moderator of the longest running show on television has been the honor of my professional life. And as I prepare to pass the baton to the next custodian, it is a privilege to pass it to someone who needs no introduction.
So is the United States spying on its European allies?
Great to lost Iowa in 2008. How do you win this time? Are you giving Russian President Vladimir Putin the upper hand heading into your talks?
Did you direct Mike Flynn to discuss sanctions with the Russian ambassador prior to your inauguration?
No, I didn't. Is abuse of power an impeachable offense? Mr. President, is it humane to separate children from their families? I'm Kristen Welker of NBC News, and I welcome you to the final 2020 presidential debate. Vice President Biden, there have been questions about the work your son has done in China and for a Ukrainian energy company when you were vice president. In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Nothing was unethical.
Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need? 30 seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
Don't you need to recalibrate to some extent to try to work across the aisle with a Republican-led House?
Is that your signature on the check, though?
Let me see. It could be. It doesn't matter whether it's my signature or not. You know how many checks I've written to Lindsay? Yes, that's my check.
Does the president need to take the reins? And I'll be at the White House tomorrow, so I'll give you an update when I ask him.
Well, Kristen Welker joins me now in her last appearance as a guest on Meet the Press. You ready?
I am ready, Chuck. And I just want to say I am also so thankful and grateful to you for this moment, for entrusting me with this monumental, important role. I take this responsibility so seriously. I'm ready because you have helped me get ready, Chuck. You are someone who invests in the people that you care about, and you have invested in me. And I am just so eternally grateful for that. I've said it before. I think it bears repeating. You brought me to D.C. You taught me just about everything I know about politics. And I say that a lot, but just to give folks a sense of what I actually mean by that, one of the things that sticks in my mind is you were at a news conference in 2013. Former President Obama, Prime Minister Netanyahu, we were covering the White House at the same time. This was in Jerusalem. You asked more questions than any other reporter. And it was a message to me that you have to have the courage, you have to have the confidence to ask the tough questions and to ask as many questions as need to be asked.
Yeah. No.
It's not a popularity contest. And I remember thinking to myself in that moment, you have to push yourself harder, Kristen. You have to ask tougher questions. You have to make sure you're getting in the follows. The best part about all of this is that you're not going anywhere. You're going to be on speed dial for me and all of us.
You push yourself hard. You work really hard. You prepare. You out-prepare so many people. Tell me this. I had my own thing that I wanted to bring. I wanted to bring more data to what we did and all this stuff. What's something you want to bring that you think will be unique to your tenure as moderator?
Well, I want to approach this as a reporter. That's who I am. That's who I've always been. I've covered 3 administrations now, the Obama administration, the Trump administration, the Biden administration. I've traveled all over the world with all of these presidents. And I really want to bring that to the show every Sunday to make sure that we are giving our viewers the information that they need. And now my beat, by the way, is all of Washington, the campaign trail, and frankly, the world. And I want to be asking those tough questions. I want to be making you proud.
Oh, you will.
I want to be building on the legacy of this show.
What are your thoughts about breaking the polarization, breaking this habit where they don't want to answer any questions to people that they think aren't going to ask friendly questions?
Well, look, this is something you and I have talked about a lot when you and I have sat at this desk together, anchoring on election nights. We are living in a world in which we are deeply divided as a country. And so my thoughts are, I need to be keeping my finger on the pulse of what matters to voters. I'm going to be out on the trail. I'm going to be bringing their questions here to the moderator's desk. And you've always said this, the role of the moderator is to bring Washington to the rest of America and vice versa. It's a huge responsibility. It's one that I take very seriously.
Look, there's a lot of great imitators to what we do, but there's only one Meet the Press. Now, here's my baton, and part of it is I want to get rid of this. But it's sort of my old reliable. I have had alarms not go off with this modern thing, Mr. Jobs and Mr. Cook. This thing with its battery backup. I highly recommend it. It does a funny thing. You plug it into a wall, it keeps power, and when the power goes out, it has a battery backup.
I love it.
It has never failed me.
Thank you.
My real trick is to set it 40 minutes early. You will never oversleep, but here's my other promise to you. You will never sleep on Saturday. I have yet to do it.
That is for sure. This is timeless. You are timeless, Chuck. So is this show. Thank you so much. I'm really honored. And again, you left very big shoes to fill, and I just want to make you proud.
They are. It is, again, there's a reason we've all used the word custodian, all the previous moderators. It is, again, you're the moderator of the longest running show in television. You don't want to be the last moderator. And hand it over. When you hand it over, it'll, I'm sure, be in a better place than you have it today.
I hope so. I'll work hard to do that. I promise you that every Sunday.
Kristen, thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
On my first day on the job at Meet the Press, I was handed an audience survey of Sunday show viewers. And the #1 reason folks said they tuned in was not because of who the person was behind the chair or the guests. It was simply to get educated. So for nearly a decade, I've had the honor of helping to explain America to Washington and Washington to America, as Kristen just quoted me about. And it's that education piece that I'm hanging my hat on for the rest of my professional life. One thing we all lament lately, is the lack of knowledge and nuance in our politics and citizenship. That's a vacuum I hope to continue to fill, whether in our continued news coverage here at NBC or via other venues like docuseries and docudramas focused on bridging our divides, piercing these political bubbles. And I will continue, of course, to be a big part of NBC's political coverage because, as Tom Brokaw said to me, he says, look, some networks do some things well, but nobody does politics like NBC. And he was referring back all the way to David Brinkley. And that is sort of the tradition I've always sent from Brinkley to Russert. And that's the stuff I want to carry on. That's the stuff Kristen is going to carry on. I also could not have done this job for the last 9 years without the team that you don't see on television. The producers, the control room, the crew, the editors, the artists who make this show look like an incredible production every week. I get up early, and they get up earlier. Television is a team sport, and I'm proud to be a member of this team and stay a member of this team, even as a spectator, a cheerleader, and an advisor. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and for so many years of loyalty to me and to this show. I'm happy to say my colleague Kristen Welker is going to be here next week because it doesn't matter who sits in this chair. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Meet the Press now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News.